ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् नारायणं पद्मभवं वसिष्ठं शक्तिं च तत्पुत्रपराशरं च व्यासं शुकं गौडपादं महान्तं गोविन्दयोगीन्द्रमदास्य शिष्यं श्रीशङ्कराचार्यमतास्य पद्मपादं च हस्तामलकं च शिष्यं तोडकं वार्तिककारमन्या अस्मद्गुरून् सन्ततमानतोऽस्मि श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम् सर्ववेदान्तसिद्धान्त गोचरं तमगोचरं गोविन्दं परमानन्दं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्. I can put this slide on. We are looking at the verse that explains the nature of sattva and what are the qualities that can enhance sattva in our personality. And here in this description, elaborately being explained by the Bhashakarya, the verse we read first, verse number 118, 118. I think it is 118, correct. 118. मिश्रस्य सत्त्वति भवन्ति धर्माः त्वमानितात्या नियमायमाद्याः श्रद्धा च भक्तिश्च मुमुक्षुता च दैवी च सम्पत्तिः असन्निवृत्तिः मिश्रस्य सत्त्वस्य भवन्ति धर्माः त्वमानिधात्या नियमायमाद्याः श्रद्धा च भक्तिश्च मुमुक्षुता च दैवी च सम्पत्तिरसन्निवृत्तिः. Asat nivrittihi, remover of The asat. Asat means that which is not real. In Tamil, asad means useless person. Asad means one who is useless. So here, one who is not sat, meaning one who does not have sattvika guna, and that person obviously has rajas or tamas. Shraddha cha bhaktis cha mumukshudha cha daivi cha sampattihi asat nivrittihi. So mishrasya sattvasya bhavanti dharmaha. If you're pure sattva means that person will be in abiding in the self. But we have seen this is a certain amount of rajas, certain amount of tamas is also there. Tamas shunyasya ishad rajobi mishrasya sattvasya ityartha. That is what mishrasya sattvasya. Little bit of rajas is there, because of which such a person is still part of the world. And we have seen many of the details of amanitvam, adambitvam, ahimsa, kshanti, arjavam, acharyopasanam, shaucham, stairyam, atma vinigraha, indriya, tesh vairagyam, anahankara, evacha, janma mrityu, jara vyadi, dukkha doshanudarshanam, asakti ranavishwangaha, putradhara grihadishu, disara nityam cha samachittatvam, ishtanishtopapadyishu, Maicha Ananya Yogena Bhaktihi Avyabhicharini. Up to that, we have seen all those things were explained beautifully. Now, one thing which we take it for granted, that sattva will increase on its own. Because we are studying Vivekachoodamani, we are studying Gita, we are observing all the festivals, in fasting and feasting. No. Here, very specifically, it is said, Vivikta Desha Sevitvam. One has to experiment the mind in solitude. Only in solitude we really know where our mind is habitually moving about. Only in solitude we realize how powerful is this mind. Sri Ramana Maharshi was asked this question: how do we know we are progressing towards Bhagavan? He says, look at your mind when nobody else is with you. That is when you know how the mind is, or where the mind is. If it is getting bored, lazy, then it is tamas. It is ready to browse, then it is rajas. Or browse or do this and that. So here, Vivikta Shuddhaha Chittam, Chitta Prasadakaha Yo Deshaha. You have to choose the place which is Chitta Prasadakaha. Chitta Prasada means that which makes your mind quiet. Choose that place. Tat Sevitvam Jananam Vaishayikanam Samsadi Atya Abhavaha, Samsairatya Bhavaha, Rati Abhavaha. So where there is no other person's company or even objects. Vivikta Desha Sevitvam is where neither the people are there nor any object that will demand your attention and rati. So that is what is considered to be Vivikta Desha Sevitvam. Tasmin Nityatvam Sarvada Tatraiva Nishtha. Ability to stay there, and one has to take this solitude as a practice for one to know how much of rajas and tamas are penetrating in the mind. We always blame others or the world around us for whatever is happening to our mind. Only when we are in solitude, we know that the world is only secondary cause. Pradama Etu is Manaha Eva. World is only Gauna, secondary. So, here it is said, Adhyatma sosa rati abhavaha atmanam adhikritya pravrittam Atma Anatma Viveka Jnanam Adhyatma Jnanam. So, next one is taken up Adhyatma Jnanam. Vivekta Desha Sevitvam Aradihi Jana Samsadi Adhyatma Jnana Nityatvam. That is explained as Atmanam Adhikritya Pravruttam Atmana Atmanatma Viveka Jnanam Adhyatma Jnanam Tasmin Nityatvam Tatreva Nishta. That's what it is. Now, you see, when we come to understand what is Viveka, we often think that Viveka is a mere, what you call literal translation is discrimination or differentiation. But really what it is, that what we think at the present moment as real, from the Vedanta standpoint, it's not real. Reality is not something which is hidden somewhere and it will come to us sometime later. No. Real is that which is present now, but we are not looking at it, and we have replaced what is real with something which we consider as real. Because our experiences of the world through our body, senses, etc., report to us constantly the world is real. When do we really firmly say the world is not? And whatever is connected to the world, problems and agitations and concerns and so many other things, they are not real. When do we come to have that firm nishta? That nishta is very important. Nitaram sthanam nishta. So, adhyatma jnanam tasmin nityatvam tatreva nishta. One Mahatma was asked this question, should we keep moksha as our goal of life? So that Mahatma said, goal is always something which you postpone. It is away from you. So I want to reach a goal. The moment when you say goal, it always looks like it is somewhere in some desha, some kala, away from you. So maybe in another 1 year's time or 2 years' time or 15 years' time or next birth. Or it is far away from you, I have to reach there. So long as you keep the goal away from you, you will delay your realization. Goal is to be realized as now, this moment, with me, in me, as me. Until that realization takes place, that is what one has to do in Vivikta Desha. In Vivikta Desha means when there is no other disturbance, when you are in solitude, aham moksha swarupaha aham. I am of the nature of liberation, bliss. So assertion of that nature must be practiced. Sasangoham asangoham satchidananda advaya swarupoham. Ahamevaham avyayah. This again and again to be brought in. So when one asserts oneself with that, then alone there is nishta. Tatra eva nishta. Tasmin nityatvam. Tvam padartha shodhanehi eka paratvam idi yavat. Tvam padartha shodhanehi. By the clear purity arising out of understanding what is this tvam means, by that eka paratvam eva idi yavat. So that eka paratva, one alone is that real, that alone is to be padartha viveka parasya vakyartha jnana adhigamat. Only when we understand the padartha of what tvam means, what tat means, then only there is abidance in that also. Tattva jnanasya vyakyartha jnana rupasya yo artha phalam moksha tasya darshana alochanam. That is what is called tattva jnanartha darshanam. That is also Bhagavan Krishna has very clearly said, tattva jnanartha darshanam adhyatma jnana nityatvam tattva jnanartha darshanam, as in the 13th chapter. So this way, Tattvajnana phala alochanehi tat sadhane pravrittihi syad. Only when we have understood that nature of the self is akin to the nature of Brahman, which is always free and blissful, then only there is a pravritti for that. Pravritti means the aspiration to go towards, to realize. When the clarity is not there, there is always a postponement. अरे अभी तो नहीं दिख रहा है, अभी तो मेरा doubt है. So when you have a doubt, you postpone it. फिर देखेंगे. That's why the other day I was saying, who Shankara? Shanka Harati iti Shankara. Who is Shankara? Shanka Harati Shankara. Meaning one who removes the doubt. Shanka means doubt. And that one who is the ability to remove the doubts in our mind that will come, that is the Adi Shankara. By his words, by his bhashya, continuously he engages in removing all possible doubts that come. Only when the doubts are cleared, clarity is there, then there is a pravritti. So this way, he has explained the amanitwadi adyaha. Then niyamaha yama adyaha. In the verse it is said yama and niyama. Yama niyama are given in the Yoga Shastra. So I am going to conveniently leave that now, because that is an elaborate explanation from the sutras. But you understand, yama and niyama are inner and outer disciplines which are prescribed in the Patanjali Yoga Sutras. But the next one is important, what is called a Daivi Sampat. Before that, Shraddha and Bhakti and Mumukshuta. Shraddha cha, Bhaktischa, Mumukshuta cha. In general, Yama and Niyama are given as Atra Yadyapi Yama Ghatakodi Ki Bhutayaha Ahimsayaha Niyamaha Agadasya Niyama Gatakasya Shochasya Cha Ghatanamasti Tatapi Uttara Atra Niyamayatyaha Ityatra Tadupayati. So he has given Shaucha, Santosha, Tapaha, Swadhyaya, Ishvara Pranitanani Niyamaha. And also, these are all called Niyamas. And Yama is given as in the Sutra, Ahimsa, Asatya, Asteya, Brahmacharya, Aparigraha, Yamaha. In the Patanjali Sutra, it is given as these are the Shaucha, which we have seen earlier also in other contexts: purity, Santosha, contentment, Tapaha, austerity, Swadhyaya, self-study, Ishvara Pranidhanam, surrender to the Lord. These are all considered as Niyamas in Patanjali Sutra. Also, here in Yama is Ahimsa, non-injury, Asatya, Ahimsa, Satya, speaking the truth, Asteya, non-stealing, Brahmacharya, celibacy, and Aparigraha, non-possessiveness. They are all considered as Yamaha. These are all prescribed for people who are practicing Iti Sutra Anusarena, according to the Patanjali Sutras. Now, let us move on to Shraddha. What is Shraddha? Sarvashreya Nidanam Astikya Buddhihi. Astikya Buddhihi. It's very hot here. Astikya Buddhi means Asti Iti Buddhi. In 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavan clearly says, Raja Vidya, Raja Guhyam, Pavitram Idamuttamam, Pratyaksha Bhagamam Dharmyam, Susukam Kartum Avyayam. When he was talking about this knowledge, it is royal knowledge, royal secret, a great virtue, and it is Susukam Kartum. Even to practice it is easy. Pratyaksha Avagamam, it's very easy to know all that. But even Bhagavan himself says, if you don't have Shraddha, Therefore, he says, Ashraddadana Purushaha Dharmasyasya Parantapa Aprapya Mam Nivartante Mrityu Samsara Vartmani. One thing you should definitely avoid is Ashraddha, absence of faith, because that's a great obstacle in our path. See, there is a difference between Ashraddha and doubt. Doubt you ask out of thinking and trying to understand. Ashraddha means, wo attempt hi nahi karta hai. Ashraddha means what? I don't believe in you. Finished. Then there is no question of even thinking about what you said. Is it not that happens in our life when somebody always does something which is not what he is expected or she is expected to do? And when that person comes in front of you, whatever you say, I just won't believe. Distrust. But as doubt is only when possibly that person is right, which I am not understanding correctly. Let me ask that question. So, when Arjuna asks questions, it is out of doubt, not out of absence of faith. You must understand that clearly. So even the children, when they ask, or when you say something, do this, why should I do that? You don't have Shraddha in what I say. No, he wants to know. It's a doubt. It's not that he or she doesn't trust you, but there is a need for clarity. So doubt is always welcome, but Shraddha, Ashraddha, absence of faith. See, when you talk to a person who doesn't trust you, you don't feel like talking to that person. Isn't that true? When somebody is always having a feeling of distress, you just don't talk. Why? Anyway, he is not going to take it seriously. Why should I waste time? That's why Bhagavan said, Ashraddhadana Purushaha Dharmasyasya Parantapa Aprapya, not reaching me, Nivartante, return, Mrityu Samsara Vartmani, back to the same world of death. So here, what is Shraddha? Sarva Shreya Shreyo Nidanam. It is the very support of all that is Shreyas, all that which is ultimate good. That is Astikya Buddhihi. Trust in the Vedas and Guru and oneself, etc. So that Shraddha alone can lead to Bhakti. See, when you go to a temple and look at the Shivalingam or Vishnu, form of Vishnu, then you have to have the Astikya Buddhi. Hey, Bhagavan hai. If you look at it as a stone, then you won't even do salutation. You do namaskar. Correct? It's just only a stone. Why should you do namaskar to that? So, hey, this is Bhagavan. This is the Lord. So look at the people who go to all the way Hajj and all, go all the way to that place. And it's already covered. There is nothing. There's a black cover, but people go round, and do the, all the fasting and all thing they do. Oh, that's all Shraddha, right? There is Astikya Buddhi. It is there. The Lord or whatever it is that they're worshipping, it is there. And every 5 times a day, then they are doing namaz also. What does it mean? That they look at the direction of the Mecca and then do that. That means Shraddha is there. Asti Buddhi. Or just a cross you put in one top of the hill. Nothing but one wood like this, one wood like this. That's all it is. 2 wooden planks. That's all it is. But is it not that creates in the mind the thought about God? 2 planks, that gives a thought of God. So only when you have that, then there is bhakti. That's why it says, Bhakti sa para apara bedena dvivida. Bhakti is of 2 types. Apara bhakti and para bhakti. What is apara bhakti? Apara means lower, not lower. But I would say one step down, not lower. When you say lower means, okay, I don't care about it. No, no, no. Most of us practice only apara bhakti. Apara bhakti, apara eva sadhana bhakti uchyate. Any kind of sadhana, you do japa of the name of the Lord, or you do a puja, a upasana, or fasting, or feasting, celebrating, going to a temple, and preparing food for the Lord, or doing, offering some flowers to the Lord, or showing arati. All these are all sadhanas. These are all sadhana bhakti is called apara bhakti. Bhaktya sanjataya bhaktya bibrati utphalakam tanum. See, when a person who has the right attitude towards that Lord of his heart, and when he or she offers flowers or bhajans or singing or any kind of japa, or there is a physical body gets a kind of elevation, the feeling of holiness, a feeling of divinity, that is called apara bhakti in the form of sadhana. Iti bhagavata te shravanam kirtanam vishnoho smaranam padasevanam archanam vandanam dasyam sakhyam atmanivedanam iti naviveda bhaktihi. These are all Shravanam, Kirtanam and all that. But what is Para Bhakti? Parama Prema Lakshanayaha Para Bhakti Sadhanam. A highest form of love. For love is not an action. All these are all action as you look at it. Offering flowers and showing arati, or doing a japa, singing the bhajan, doing the seva. All these are all which is having some kind of a karma involved in that. Whereas when it comes to parabhakti, it is parama prema lakshanaya. Parabhakti. Love in the heart for the Lord, when one gets it, that's what Narada Bhakti Sutra also says. Right? Bhakti parama prema rupa. Supreme love. It may express as other activities. See, there are two things. One is, when a person has the parabhakti, such a person may express in the form of all other things. But it is not necessary a person who does all these things need not have to have the parabhakti, but he may be trying to reach there. By doing the various upasanas or the bhajans and other things, he is trying to capture the love for the Lord. That's why it's called sadhana. Whereas a Mahatma who has reached that Parama Prema Rupa Bhakti, such a person may express himself as like that, of doing all these things. But it is not for the sake of getting the Parabhakti is doing it. It is an expression of that Bhakti. Like Ramashna Paramahamsa, he has so much love for the Lord. He also did puja. But it is out of love, not for seeking anything. So that is why Parama Bhaktehe Sadhanam. Parabhaktehe Sadhanam. So Shraddha, Bhakti and Mumukshata Swaswarupa Sakshatkarena Avidyakanam Ahankaradi Dehantanam Bandhanam Nivritti Icha. A desire to come out of the grip of Ahankara and the ego and the identification with the body, etc., only for the sake of knowing one's own real nature. The constant seeking for it is called mumukshta. So that is what he said, Shraddha, Bhakti, Tada, Mumukshta. Now comes Daivi Sampat, which is there in the 16th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Abhayam Sattva Samshuddhihi Jnana Yoga Vyavastitihi Dhanam damascha yajnascha swadhyayastapa arjavam ahimsa satyam akrodha Tyagashantirapayishunam Daya Bodheshvalo Luptvam Madhavam Hira Chapalam Tejakshamadriti Shaucham Adroho Nati Manita Bhavanti Sampadam Devim Abhichatasya Bharata. Divine qualities. So why is it all enumerated? 26 of them. Why is it enumerated? Because Bhavan was getting bored, just say something. It is not that. The indicators of purity of mind. How do we identify whether we are in that direction? First one, he says abhayam, fearlessness. So because fearlessness does not mean go and put your hand in the fire or catch a snake. That's what we think. Oh, he's so fearless. He just jumps out of that. We call that bumpy jumping.
Jump.
Bungee jump. That doesn't mean it's achieved one of the qualities of Devi Sampath. Abhayam, jump into the this adventurous jumping, that is not considered as fearlessness. Means what we are actually afraid of. See, death definitely everybody is afraid of. Correct? But death is not every day. We are living in fear. Living in fear. What is the living in fear? Our own unpredictable mind. That is the greatest fear we have. अरे स्वामी जी मैंने सुन लिया, इतना सुन लिया गीता, मेरे से कुछ आते नहीं मैं. My mind is not listening, not working, not ever improved. क्या करूं? I'm afraid of my own mind, what it will do. When we are, of course, when we start observing ourselves, certain things make us angry, upset. And even though you know that it should not happen, it happens. That is unpredictability of the mind. So what is that abhayam? Tatra abhayam nama ishta anishta sanyoga viyogya hetu darshana janyam yad dukkhamayam tat rahityam. Dukkhamayam, dukkhabhayam, tat dukkhabhayam. We are afraid actually about sorrow. Think, if everything goes well, so even when everything goes well, everything is going well, I'm afraid something is going to happen. Very often people say that. Swamiji, all are going well. I wonder if something going wrong which we are not looking at it. Isn't that? I often get this comment when we go to yatra, etc. So everything goes, Swamiji, everything is going too smoothly. I think then something is going to happen. Then I tell them, we did Sankalpa, right? Okay, then don't worry about it. Bhagavan ke liye maine de diya, okay, let him take care of it. So here it says, what is Bhayam? Ishta anishta sanyoga viyoga hetu darshana janyam. Sanyoga viyoga. What is that? Ishta anishta. So when we desirable, undesirable thing, either association or disassociation with that, the possibility of that creates a fear. Meaning, anishta vastu praptihi, nishta vastu apraptihi, or anishta vastu sanyoga, anishta vastu sanyoga, ishta vastu yoga. Now, what I desire to have, I don't have it anymore. Or what I don't want to have, I somehow get it. Possibility of that. So that creates yad dukkha bhayam, that which causes a certain amount of anguish. That is what is called bhayam, tat rahityam. That absence of that is called abhayam. Abhayam, that is then sattva samshuddhihi. Yadva Shastra Upadishtartha Sandeham Vina Anushtana Nishtatvam. Yadva, otherwise, again, by him he says one more thing. Shastra Upadishta Artha Sandeham Vina Anushtana Nishtatvam. So, here, Anushtana Nishtatvam, Abhayam. Ability to abide in the knowledge without the doubt. That is called Abhayam. See, why it is so? What we are trying to achieve is something which is presently unknown. About the unknown, we definitely will have doubts. Anything that is pratyaksha, which is available to our direct perception, we have no doubt about that. But anything that is not easily for us to comprehend through the senses, and when it is only coming as an idea or an advice from the Shastra or the Guru, there is more and more doubts. And because of which one is not able to abide. But in spite of the doubt, because of the faith that one has in the Guru or the Shastra, one attempts to remain abiding in the self in spite of the doubt, knowing that once the abidance is complete, all doubts will get cleared. Vidyate hridaya grantihi chityante sarva samshaya shiyante chasya karmani. When? Tasmin drishte paravare. See, really the doubt cannot be cleared completely until you reach there. Some doubt will be there. But because somebody will say, until all doubts are cleared, I will not sit in meditation. Then, all the best. It will never happen. Until all the waves are gone, I will not get into the water to swim. One person went to a swimming coach. Then he stood there next to the water. The coach said, get into the water. No, until I learn how to swim, I won't get into the water. Are Buddhu, how do you learn to swim unless you get into the water? Is it a theory? How to stroke, how to move your hand and other things. I will give you a theory class. Get in. I'll show you then how to swim. No, I will not touch the water until I am told how to swim. Very good. You'll definitely learn fast. So, even though doubts are there, one should not become hesitant to get into the practice of quietening the mind, sitting there. Because all doubts can be clear. Tasmin drishte paravare. So that's why he says that even Sandeha is there. Yadva Shastra Upadishtartha Sandeham Vina Anushtana Nishtatvam. Sattvasya Antakaranasya Samyak Shuddhihi Nirmalata Sattva Samshuddhihi. Sattva Mana Shuddhihi. Purity of mind, clearly Sattva and Samshuddhihi. That's why he splits there. Antakaranasya Shuddhihi. Purity of the mind. What is the purity of the mind? If you look at it carefully, you will understand. Mind is a victim of vasanas. It cannot but continuously being nudged by the vasanas. About eating, about seeing, about going, about doing, about this. Continuously it is there. So that is why I said when you are in solitude, you realize how these vasanas are trying to creep into your mind again and again. Trying to get into your mind. So here what he says, the mind which is in general able to withstand the push and pull of the vasanas is, to that extent, it is pure. Absolute purity is when vasanas are there, but I am not doing anything to encourage them or engage in them. So here, Shuddhehe samyaktvam nama bhagavat tattva spurtim yogyatvam. Really speaking, true purity is where ability to fill the heart with the Lord's thought. Samyaktvam nama bhagavat tattva spurti yogyatvam. Shastra acharya upadeshabhyam atma tattva avagatihi jnanam. The next one, tattva, what you call sattva samshrutihi jnana yoga vyavastitihi. In that jnanam is what? It is said, Shastra acharya upadeshabhyam atma tattva avagatihi jnanam. By the study of scriptures and listening to the teacher, one is able to gain the clarity about one's own true nature. That what is called jnanam. Avagadasya arthasya chitte ekagrataya swanubhavat rudatva apadanam yoga. Yoga is arudatva. Mounting on that knowledge and remaining steady there. Even Bhagavad Gita says, no, what is yoga? Yoga rudaha. Who is yoga rudaha? Shamakkaranam vacchate. Yoga rudasya tasyeva shamakkaranam vacchate. The mind has become very quiet and peaceful. Until then, karma is necessary for making the mind quiet. But once the mind has become quiet, like that of the riding on the horse is not possible when the horse is not ready to allow you to sit down. It will not allow you first. It will throw you out. Similarly, the mind will not allow you to sit down in one place. But slowly you tame that horse. Then horse also knows that he is harmless. And then it will allow you to get on. So in the same way, the mind must be trained in such a way, again and again attempt to quieten, will lead you to ability to stay on it. So that is arudatva apadanam yoga. Tayoho visheshana avastitihi sada tannishtata jnana yoga vyavastitihi. See, it goes complementing, Jnanam will lead to ability to remain in yoga rudha. Yoga rudha will give more and more room for clarity of knowledge. Again, it will create more rudatvam. Again, more ability to understand. This have to go. That's why jnana yoga vyavastitihi. And then, continuing here, yada adhikaram swadravyasya patre pradipadanam danam. What is danam? Yada adhikaram, according to one's own swadravyasya patre pradipadanam. Patre pradipadanam. First is giving into, donating or sharing your own wealth with the right and appropriate and deserving person. Deshe kale patrecha yaddanam satvikam uchyate. You must find the right time, right place, right person to give. One person could not go to his friend's marriage, So 1 year later only he could meet him. And then he took a bouquet, some gift, and went to him. Sorry, I could not come to your marriage, which happened last year because of COVID. So here it is. So that man said, I divorced already. So he said, keep it for the next one. That is the best. Advance. Next one, So when you are giving, you should know when to give. So one fellow was falling by mistake from the 13th floor and is coming down. So somebody noticed that From the 8th floor, he stuck his head out. Hey, what is happening? How is it going? So far, so good. It's coming down. So sometimes, we do not know what to ask, when to ask, where to ask. So according to the correct time, place, and who deserves it, to give that is called dhanam. Bhagavan Shankara Krishna also explains in 17th chapter on that. And then what is damaha? Bahendriya Sanyamaha damaha. Quietening the movements of or reducing the agitations of the external sense organ is called damaha. And yajna is what? Shrotaha Agnihotra Dashapurna Masadihi Smartascha Deva Yajna Pitru Yajna Bhuta Yajna Manushya Yajna Idi Chaturvido Yajna Yajno Yajna Brahma Yajnasya Swadhyaya Padena Pratak Uktehe. Yajna is of two kinds. Broadly speaking, what is said in the Smriti and what is said in the Shruti. Shruti are scriptures like Vedas. Smriti are written by people of the later times who, like Yajnavalkya Smriti, or even Bhagavad Gita is a Smriti, and then what is written as Manusmriti. They are all written by people whom we know, historical people who wrote. Whereas Vedas are not a historical person's compositions. So therefore, they came to us by Shruti, by listening. Whereas Smriti came to us by study, by people who have written down and then passed on. In Shruti, it is given certain fasting, certain observations are to be done, or certain rituals have to be done by an individual for purity of mind, like Agnihotra, Darsha Purnamasa. Meaning that Dasha Purnamasa means when you have a Paurnami or during the full moon or new moon, certain rituals have to be done. These are all prescribed in the Shruti. Whereas in the Smriti it is said, 5 kind of yajnas a person has to do, a grahastha. What are those? Here it is given the rest there. What are those here? Deva Yajna, worship of gods, Pitru Yajna, worship of the ancestors or doing sacrifices for them. Then Bhuta Yajna, doing things that will help other living beings, not a human, other living beings. Manushya Yajna, meaning helping other living beings, human beings. Then these are all the 4. And there is only Brahma Yajna is also, that is actually study of scriptures. That will be separately given as Swadhyaya. That's why he did not include it here. This is Dhanam, Yajna, that is actually said in Gita also. These 3 one should not leave. Yajnodhana tapaha, these should not be given up. Yajnodhanam tapascheva pavanani manishinam. They are all most purifying. So, Dhanam Yajnascha. Then next one is Swadhyaya Brahma Yajna Adrishta Artha book Devadi Adhyayana Rupaha. Vedadi Adhyayana Rupaha. Swadhyaya is the called Brahma Yajna, which is none other than Adrishta Artha book. Adrishta Artha Rukvedeva book. Adrishta Artha Ruk Vedadi Adhyayana Rupaha. Study of scriptures like Rigveda, etc., to know or realize what is said to be Adrishta. Adrishta means what? Unseen. What is unseen? Heaven, etc., are not seen. But that is indicated in our Vedas. So, to know about them on studies, that is called Swadhyaya. Then it is said, Swadhyaya Brahma Yajna, right. Tapaha. Then next one is tapas. Shariradi Vedena Trividam. tapas is of three kinds. In 17th chapter again, Bhagavan Krishna will explain. Deva Dvija Guru Prajna Pujanam Shauchamarjavam Brahmacharyam Ahimcha Shariram Tapa Uchate. Bodily, there are certain tapas to be done. What is that? Pujanam. Puja is a tapas. Whom do we do puja? Deva, Dvija, Guru, Prajna, Pujanam. Deva Pujanam, Dvija Pujanam, Prajna Pujanam, Guru Pujanam. Deva Pujanam is worship of one's chosen deity. That is a tapas. That is a kaya tapas, body tapas. Why it is tapas of the body? Because when you, any puja you take up, first thing is that you must spend time. And you must come out of your physical comforts. Because you have to sit down. I lie down and do puja. They're not allowed. Sit, take shower, and wear correct kind of clothes. Sit down, bring the flowers, this and that. So all physical activities are involved. That's why Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi also said, Kaya karyam pujanam, manak karyam japaha. Vak karyam japaha, manak karyam chindanam. So, kaya karyam, physically to be done. So, Deva, what are who are the people to be worshipped? Deva Dvija. Dvija means people who have studied Vedas properly and they are also practicing it. They may be grahasthas also, but they are to be considered as worshipful, worship-worthy. So, Dvija Pujanam, then Guru Pujanam, worship of one's own Guru, who is a teacher of the Adhyatma Jnanam. Then Prajna, men of wisdom, people who have given you a greater understanding about life. So these are all considered as, and also Shaucham, purity, Arjavam, being straight forward, Brahmacharyam, celibacy, Ahimsa, these are all considered as Shariram Tapa. Vak Tapas, what are the austerities of the speech? Anudvekakaram Vakyam Satyam Priyahitam Cha Yat. Anudvekakaram Vakyam, speaking anybody to anybody, when you're speaking, make sure they are not disturbed by your speech. Unagitating kind of a conversation. People want always in excitement, agitation. No, don't agitate others' mind with your speech. Anudvekakaram Vakyam. And what you say should be tested by you as true before you say Satyam. Even when you are saying something which is true, you should say with great love, Priyam. Even as you are saying something which is true and lovingly, it should be useful. Hitam. Anudvekakaram Vakyam Satyam Priyahitam Chayat Vangmayam Tapaha. And Swadhyaya Abhyasanam Chaiva Vangmayam Tapa Uchate. Further, Swadhyaya, study. Because the study of Upanishad or the various composition of great masters and the commentary, Bhashya, etc., refines your speech. Because you will come to know how to understand, also how to communicate very properly. When you read, it happens to all of us when we read some novels, etc., we pick up vocabularies, right? Many times we pick up vocabulary not by listening, but by just reading. And nowadays, vocabulary is really bad because even as you write, it's auto-filling it. You want to use this word instead of that word. So we are actually, now what is called Chat GPT. What is it? GPT, right? Chat GPT. कुछ लिखने की नहीं है, मैं बताओ कुछ क्या चाहिए आपको, what do you want, I will write. There is a bot which is writing for you. Then we'll be losing more and more of our intelligence. So anyway, so here by study of scriptures, etc., one comes to know how to understand, how to communicate. So swadhyaya and abhyasanam practice of this, these are all called vangmayam tapa. What is so kaya tapas is given, or sharira tapas, vak tapas, and then manaprasada saumyatvam, maunam atma vinigraha bhava samshuddhi ityetad tapo manasamuchyate. Mind also has to go through the tapas. And what is that? Manaprasada, placid, quiet mind, saumya, a quality of mind which is always gentle and able to remain peaceful. Maunam, practice of silence. Atma vinigraha, absence of mental hang-ups. These are all considered. Also, bhava samshuddhi, right attitude towards everything that you deal with. Iti etat. These are all tapaha manasam, tapas of the mind. What is arjavam in the Devi Sampat? Avaktratvam arjanavam. Not having any crooked idea. Many times when our attitude is one thing, which is against what others notice. Others may not notice, but we have the crookedness of everything. Ability to twist things through Twitter. Twister, they should write this. Twister and Twitter and Twister. And then reinstatement of the most vakra one also there. So he says, Mano va kaya vrittinam ekarupyam. Mano va kaya. Mind, speech, and action should be of the same kind. That is what is called arjavam. Then continuing that, parapida varjanam ahimsa, not disturbing others physically, mentally, or by speech. That is called ahimsa. Yadadrishtavachanam satyam. Truth is speaking what you have seen or understood to be true. Don't say, I am saying because I heard so. Don't say that. If you are not sure, don't pass on the wrong thing to others. Stop it. Unless you know it is true, don't say. So that is why yadadrishtavachanam. Paraihi akroshaha tadaneva akroshe tadaneva krite sati sadya praptasya krodasya tat kalam upashabanam akrodha. Absence of anger, krodha, is even as somebody is trying to say something insulting or somebody did even physically injure you. At that time, when your mind is coming up with such a rage to give back, not to do that is called akrodha. Sampra sadhya praptasya. At once when the mind is agitating and then krodasya, tatkalam upashamana. At that moment. So many times when we don't pay attention to that, when we shout or do something, later on say, I should not have done that. Or we say, that fellow deserved it. That is not right. So, akrodaha. Danasya praguktehe tyagaha dukkha samga parityagaha. Tyaga here should not be understood as giving up. I mean, the dhanam is already spoken as sharing with people. So what is tyaga? Dukkha sanyoga parityaga. Tyaga is dukkha sanyoga parityaga. So when you know that certain things can cause great misery, disturbance in your mind, those objects of such sorrowful nature, just leave it. Dukkha sanyoga, dukkha samga parityaga. Shantihi atandridayoho uparatihi. Shantihi antarindriyo paradihi, meaning earlier Dama has said as bahi indriya nigraha. Antarindriya nigraha is called Shanti, peace. Peace is by quietening the inner instruments, ahankara, mana, buddhi. See, it is said, I read a story today. This lady of a very rich person, and she was troubling him so much during the whole life. He was henpecked husband. Obviously, our husbands are henpecked only, but he is qualified and don't need to be put there. So this person, he died. So the wife felt bad. So it really gave trouble to him. So I'll make a marble, what do you call that? Cemetery for him. So she ordered for a marble cemetery. And then in that golden letter, rest in peace. She ordered for that. Then the following day, after the death, they started to read the will. In the will, he had written everything to charity, not a single penny for her. That is how he takes a revenge. During the lifetime, he could not take any revenge. No. Revenge is after death only. So he took a revenge on her, not giving a penny to her. She was so disturbed. So she called that person who is making that cemetery. Said, I have some change to be done there in what I said yesterday. Ma'am, what have you? You asked us to put rest in peace. Yes, I need additional words to be written there. What? Rest in peace until I come. Definitely, poor thing. He must be wondering how long I'll be in peace, because she's going to come very soon. So Shanti here is antarindriya uparatihi. Paradosha prakashanam paishunam. Always looking for what is wrong with others. It's called paishunam. Apaishunam means tat virahitam, tat rahitam, right? Tat abhava apaishunam. Dukkideshu bhuteshu tatiya dukkha asahishnutvam daya. What is daya or sympathy? When others are really going through a certain amount of suffering, etc., not able to bear or ability to, participate in their own misery, and that is what is called Atma upammena sarvatra sukamba adibadukam. That's what Bhagavan said there. Aloluptvam, alolupatvam, indriyana vishaya sannidau api sannidhane api avikriyatvam iti yavat. Unagitated state, aloluptvam. Actually not greedy. It's literally meaning not going away. Even in the presence of the objects of indulgence, one is not disturbed by that. That is called aloluptvam. And mardamam is mrudutvam. Sadhuna sana samleshanarha tatyartha. Yeah. Sadhu jana samshlesharha arhate tyartaha. So mrudutvam or gentleness is to be recognized how one should behave with men of wisdom. Mrudutvam is gentleness with the men of knowledge. So it is said you should not argue with the men of knowledge. Really speaking, that is akarya karane lajja hrihi. What is called modesty or shamefulness. Shamefulness is when you are forced to do things which you are not supposed to do. The hesitancy you have, that is called shame, or feeling that I should not be doing it. Akarya karane lajja. When you are thinking of even doing things which doesn't fit your status and dignity. Vrudha cheshta rahityam achapalam. Unnecessary movement of the body and senses, absence of that is called achapalam. This way, further also there, we'll see in the next class. So 26 indicators of Daivi Sampath. We have finished almost 20, I think. So, and then we'll go to the next verse in the next class. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari